man, I'm so
I thought you said we weren't doing that.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep it.
But you said that's what Wan Show did.
No, but Wan Show did it for real.
Oh.
Is this the intro? Should you be allowed to swear on YouTube at all?
At all, yes.
Maybe it should just be turned into a platform for little babies and adults with baby brains.
Well, I think generally society tends towards more swearing. You see it in Europe already. They'll put SHIT or ASS or even BITCH right on an ad at a bus stop.
Will they actually?
Right on yeah, like in Iceland and stuff.
Europe is edgy as
They're
hell.
ahead of us.
Europe is doing some cool stuff, honestly.
We could have been part of that.
Mostly with the swearing.
Yeah, so I think it just, we're tending towards that. So it seems it would be very like puritanical to take a step back and make a platform where there's just no swearing allowed.
See, I don't know if it's that society tends towards more swear words or whether the existing swear words just kind of get sanitized and then new crazy ones come up. But we should say why we're here and what we're talking about.
Tell me about it.
YouTube's recent changes to their advertiser-friendly guidelines that they made. Well, it's not so recent anymore. It was in November, but the thing is that no one really knew about it until after November, like kind of going into December and then January. There was a big backlash as more people discovered this, thanks to gaming creators complaining because their videos were demonetized.
Or thanks to us. You may be discovering this right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, part of the reason that we wanted to report on it, because it seemed like the only people who were really talking about it were these gaming creators. The big guy that experienced the most maybe effect from this was Daniel Condren of RT Game.
And what happened to Daniel?
He had one of his videos demonetized, and he reached out to YouTube, and he's like, what's going on? And they said, yeah, it's supposed to be demonetized. And then they also demonetized like over a dozen more of his videos.
From the back catalog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of these YouTube changes. So we should go over this because you're not super familiar with this, but you have lots of thoughts about swearing, which is why I brought you on.
I'm familiar with various elements of this, yes.
You're what we call a cussman.
Yes. Or sweary boy.
A sweary boy. That's what they called you in school.
Yeah.
So they have this page that's actually very helpful with all of the changes that they make by time.
But what is this page? This should just be like a notification.
Exactly.
In YouTube.
Exactly.
How do I even know about this page?
This is silent. They roll this out, and there is this big change in it that their approach to profanity is changing in that they're treating them all the same. So like the F word is the same as
ASS. Am I allowed?
HE double hockey sticks. Just kidding. Hell and damn aren't swear words anymore.
And they say that here?
Yeah.
Do they?
It's right there. We're now treating hell and damn as not being profanity.
And that's a change?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
What do you mean?
We're tending towards more swearing.
Exactly. Well, but I'm saying that it's what I'm saying actually.
Oh, okay. Now, is that the only place that they have an exhaustive list of the swears?
No. So on the full page for the advertiser-friendly content guidelines, they have more examples like profanity like these ones used outside the start of the video. Now, this is another thing that I wanted to bring attention to. This says after 15 seconds, right? So you read this and you're like, oh, I just wait 15 seconds and then I can say whatever swear words I want. No! That's not true. Over here it says profanities used after the first 8 seconds may receive ad revenue. Pray you don't accidentally say one of the new profanities between 8 and 15 seconds.
Okay, there's so many things to unpack here.
I know.
Okay, first of all, going back to the exhaustive list of swear words, what is or is not a swear word? For example, the R word. Many people today will be like, I don't say that word. Does that mean it's a swear word? It's definitely an offensive word to many people. To many other people, they still happily say it. So, like,
I think
am I going to get demonetized? You have to just find out.
Yeah, well, I think that the R word specifically would probably refer to their policy, like that would fall under their policy of like, harassment or being rude or whatever.
Sure, but okay, what about a regional swear? Like, so for example, GASH. Not really a swear in North America.
GS.
If I'm like, that's gash, that's not that's not a swear here. But in the UK, that's a swear word. Like, that's pretty bad.
Is it? It's like an actual swear?
I don't live there.
I had
but
never
I'm told it's way worse, and I've seen comments like I'm not supposed to say it. I just said I'm not supposed to say it on in our videos anymore. I've seen lots of comments of being like, "Whoa, I can't believe you said that." So is that a swear word or not? Do they have regional lists? How does it work?
Okay, wait a second. Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I had never heard the word you just spelled out. I guess that we're trying not to say until I met you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, until I met you, and then I was like, oh wow, he's saying this a lot.
It's great, phonetically amazing.
It sounds great. Yeah, for sure. To refer to something the question I had earlier about the first 8 to 15 seconds, it's right here. Profanity used in the first 8 to 15 seconds, you can earn limited or no ad revenue.
Wait, why does it say 8 to 15?
Because these guidelines, the update from November says don't use any profanity in the first 8 seconds or you could be demonetized. Okay. And then this one says don't use any profanity after the first 15 seconds.
And
or in the first 15 seconds or you could be demonetized.
So rather than just pick a number, they have another space in the document where they say 8 to 15. Because 8 to 15 is not even the same as 0 to 15.
Yeah.
Which includes 8 to 15.
Exactly.
8 to 15, it's like, okay, you can swear from 0 to 8, but you can't swear from 8 to 15, and then you can swear again after 15 beyond.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
So this is the whole thing that people are really like complaining about because prior to November, the rule was actually prior to April, the rule was basically like, there's no like beginning of the video thing. It's just kind of like the whole video is the same. Watch your swear words or whatever. In April 2021, they were like, you can swear in the first 30 seconds. Yeah. So here it is, an update in April 2021. And they say, second, we're also expanding monetization to allow for adult themes and the usage of moderate profanity in the first 30 seconds. So in April, they said, swear in the first 30 seconds, totally fine. November 2022, they roll out this relatively silent update. They don't make a blog post about it. They don't like tell people. It just kind of appears on this site, and then people's videos start getting demonetized because now you can't swear in the first whole 30 seconds. You can only swear from 8 to 30 seconds.
I had heard the thing with Google in general and YouTube specifically is with their algorithms, they never want to tell you exactly how it works because they don't want people to game the system. Right. You don't want to be able to know exactly how PageRank works so that you can get your site to the top of Google, even though it's not a high value site. So they always obscure it purposefully.
Right.
And because of that, there's always this like lore that gets passed around between YouTube creators who have done enough experimentation, and they share this lore with one another. And so I had heard that if you had profanity or such or violence or whatever in the first minute, that was a bad thing.
Right.
And so
it sounds like the legend of the algorithm.
It sounds like in April they explicitly were like, you can actually have that in the first 30 seconds now, or maybe after 30 seconds, like they reduced it from a minute to 30, and then they're just like kind of calling it back. But the whole thing is weird because what is the difference between profanity being in the beginning of the video versus at all? It comes down to, I think, like, the whole thing with this is that advertisers, like the whole reason demonetization exists is because there's advertisers they do not want their brand associated with certain things, right? You don't want to see a Disney movie and the video starts and it's ISIS getting decapitating people.
Yeah.
Because then Disney's like, whoa, these things go together. Apparently our monkey brains are going to think these things go together.
I think ISIS likes this type of toothpaste. I won't buy it.
Which I think is just kind of dumb.
Right.
Like, they don't want their ad to be shown besides something unsavory.
It's dumb of advertisers or dumb of us apes?
I think it's dumb of advertisers. I don't know that like follows logically. I think it's kind of stupid. Like, for me, for each individual, let's say I'm the kind of person who loves swearing, which I am. If I watch that content, I'm not offended by that content.
Right.
It doesn't register as offensive to my brain.
Right.
I'm just like, this is normal. This is fine.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you put a Disney movie or whatever advertiser sensitive stuff beside that stuff, I don't see that as being a problem.
Right.
It's only the people who work there that see it as a problem. It's people who do have a problem with the stuff, which isn't me.
Yeah.
Which isn't people in my living room.
Yeah.
Who have a problem. So why does it even work this way? Why doesn't it just work like, hey, we're going to show your ad to people who are interested in your thing, and we're going to show it before videos that they like. That's all it needs to be.
Right, but yeah, I mean, it brings up the interesting question of like, should advertisers have this kind of worry of their brand being associated with certain things or certain like behavior or vibes, you know? And I feel like that's always going to be the case, you know? Like brands, like part of having a brand is building like a certain identity around that brand. Like people know us for providing this service and, you know, being family friendly, I guess. Like you wouldn't expect Disney to put out like suddenly their entire content.
They're not going to put a poster on like the gates of Auschwitz. They're not going to put like a Star Wars poster, right?
The gates of Auschwitz.
But like that is a physical thing in the world. That is not personalized. That's
Right.
out in the world, right? This is all we have to remember, that this advertising scheme is coming from TV,
Right.
old media.
Which I think is
right?
the tension here, because Google wants YouTube to be TV. Right? They want to have that like sort of respectable nature to it. I think that YouTube, you know, all of these changes that they've made over the years have been towards becoming more of like an established mainstream respectable platform and a bit away from being kind of like the Wild West social platform that is, I don't know.
Well, I would argue this kind of goes the other way.
Not Twitter so much as like 4chan, maybe. That's the extreme.
Because like, why is there a time component to this at all? Right? Like,
to what?
Well, why is it don't swear in the first 8 seconds,
right?
But after that, you can swear. So it's the same video, so why does it matter? Well, it matters because that first part of the video, that's the part that's going to come directly after the ad. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, maybe originally in the before times, you couldn't put this ad next to a video that contains swearing at all. And then they go, well, what if the swearing is far away? And then they get closer and closer and closer. What if it's a minute away? What if it's 8 seconds away? And they're just like, and eventually it's, what if it doesn't matter at all and they're swearing? Like, so this is just 8 seconds of distance between your ad.
But this is what's so confusing
and
about
cussing.
This is what's so confusing about these last few changes. I mean, it's like from April 2021 to November, there were a few changes in between there. But that's what makes this whole thing so confusing, is because they changed it from being, if you swear any time in the video, we treat it basically the same. It doesn't matter whether you say the F word at 5 seconds or at 32 seconds or at 32 minutes. It's all the same. And then they changed it in April to say, just kidding, you can swear in the first 30 seconds. And we'll treat that differently. And now they're shortening
so
that.
You're saying
like
you're saying they're flip-flopping. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess it was, maybe it's not. Honestly, the whole thing is so confusing because I guess there have also been changes to the way that they treat certain profanity. So like there was like extreme profanity and moderate profanity. So like in the first 30 seconds, you can only do moderate profanity. And now you can use any profanity you want after 8 seconds.
If I wait 8 to 15 seconds, let's say call it 20 just to be safe, I can go with see you next Tuesday, F word.
See you next Tuesday.
Whatever I want, and I'm good?
Yeah.
Is that how it works now?
After 8 seconds, you can say whatever you want, although as we saw in the advertiser-friendly content guidelines here, there's a difference between, like, you can earn full ad revenue. This content can earn ad revenue if you use profanity after 15 seconds. If you use profanity in between the first 8 to 15 seconds, you might get limited. And if you say profanity before that, in the first 7 seconds, you're gonna be fully demonetized.
Really?
So I'll give them kudos for the fact that this table right here is clearer than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because they actually give you examples of the swear words here.
They want to monetize every video.
They do want to do that, and we want to monetize this video too, which is why it's sponsored by Secret Lab. Secret Lab chairs are engineered to keep you incredibly comfortable for long hours at work and play. Their new Titan Evo 2022 chair features 4-way lumbar support, ultra comfy lines of different seat materials, and more. All their chairs come with up to a 5-year extended warranty and a 49-day return policy, so head to the link in the description and check out Secret Lab today. Yes.
Right? They want to monetize as much as they can. They probably don't really care about the advertisers' Chick-fil-A Christian values.
Right.
They just want to get
Google
money for
doesn't
everything.
care, and probably the advertisers don't care either. It's just like the audience that they're imagining is going to be offended by these things. And to be fair, this is probably based off research.
Again, that's so stupid because the internet is about personalization. Like in old media, a TV, you know, I'm in an airport, the TV is playing. Anyone could be seeing that ad. Anyone could be watching that. But now we're talking about my phone that I'm holding. So if I think the content is savory, it's savory. It doesn't matter what the guy next to me on the bus thinks. He's not watching my phone. This is just for me.
So are you suggesting that because we live in this era of personalization, these services should have the ability to kind of use this data that has been collected about us,
which they already have,
to serve us different levels of, serve us the level of like appropriateness that we are okay with having.
I've already told your data graph that I'm into this stuff. So show me whatever ad, because it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying?
So under that system, would creators be able to just kind of do whatever they want and then trust that Google is going to serve them or give them ad revenue from the advertisers that want to advertise on like crazy, you know, swear-filled content?
I guess it's like, do we end up arriving? I guess what I'm saying is that there shouldn't be, the advertisers just shouldn't have a choice. Like, you just get put wherever. That would be what but I understand why they wouldn't want that, which is why we arrived at the situation we have.
Right.
I'm just saying it's kind of arbitrary and illogical.
I agree.
Like, if you've determined that I'm in the market for your product, I'm in the market for, what's the most wholesome product? I don't know, like baby butt wipes.
Baby butt wipes.
You know, I'm in the market for
flavored Cheerios.
I'm in the market for the most wholesome product. You have determined I'm your target market. But I also like to watch videos that are very unsavory and have lots of swearing and gore and violence and just the worst stuff. Satanism. I
mean, obviously, this is like an extreme example. There's not going to be many people like that.
There could be. There could be millions and billions of people like that.
I guess if you're in the market for baby wipes, yeah. But maybe you're looking for like the edgy baby wipes.
But what I'm saying is, like, you've determined I'm one of your customers. Why do you think I'm like why make a judgment call about my morality and my tastes and preferences? Just show me the damn ad, and then I'll go on and watch the content that I like.
Well, I guess I agree with you that, you know, in this world where we've already given up all our data and they have all this information about us already, you know, we might as well use that data now to make using YouTube and creating content for social platforms like easier for everybody by not trying to apply the single standard to everyone. I mean, like, it's based on TV, right? Like as you say, everyone's going to see it. So you're
on my side now.
I think I agree with you about the theoretical proposition there. I don't know if it's realistic, because I think what YouTube is trying to be is TV. And if they allow this situation where, you know, whatever goes, everyone can just like make crazy violent content. We didn't even talk about that, or like drug references. There's new rules about that have affected gaming creators. If they let it be like a Wild West, I don't think they're going to get the type of, I don't know what you call it, prestige, respect that they would expect.
Well, I could see...
Or that they want.
I think it's the brush. The brushes we've chosen that are annoying me. Like, it's swearing and it's violence. But it really should be things like, I don't want my brand to come before a conspiracy theory video. Or for example, I'm not choosing sides here, but let's just say, I don't want to be in front of an anti-vax misinformation video. I don't want to be in front of a flat earth video. I don't want to be in front of, you know, some kind of like key issue. I have no problem with advertisers, you know, specifying which channels they don't want to be in front of or something like that, because they don't want to give money to those people or those creators or something like that. But just to be like, well, swearing is just bad. This
is interesting. So like you're totally on the side of like we should let them fly. Like, YouTube should be a platform where there's no, like, everyone just kind of makes the content they want with no thought towards, like, you know, standards of what is appropriate.
Well, not necessarily. It's up to them. Like, for example, this organization, say the WAN show.
Yeah.
There's no swearing. And it's not because we're afraid of getting demonetized. It's because we want to have the show playing in as many living rooms and cars and headsets as possible.
Right.
And if you're driving home with your kid in the car and there's a bunch of swearing, you can't listen to that when you're driving your kid home from school. So that limits your own audience. So we've made the decision as a business to be like, let's min-max this and just bleep our swears or say poop instead of the other word, and it's not that hard, and we make more money.
Right, especially because for our type of content, it's not crucial that we, let things fly, And I think that the difference between Linus Media Group and other groups of YouTubers or individual YouTubers is that they might have a brand that relies a lot more on, hey guys, I'm just sitting down. This is my completely brutal, honest take.
Yeah, you might be
something.
like a comedian, a roast comedian, a very edgy comedian who relies on swearing, or you might be like a faith-based channel that like really relies on not. There's different dimensions.
Right.
There's different forces pushing you. For us, there is a commercial force pushing us to not swear. But then there might be a moral force to push you not to swear.
But like you said,
there might be a functional force to push you to swear. But it's up to you to figure that out.
But like you said, I feel like even if swearing would benefit our content in some way, like maybe it would make us seem a little bit more relatable or make us seem a little bit more, honest, I guess. At the end of the day, do you really does it really fundamentally change the content if you use the real F word or if you say like frickin' or something? Like, does it, how fundamentally, it changes the vibe?
Yeah, well, I think YouTube is largely about authenticity, and if you're coming off as being inauthentic because you're just like, oh shoot, like if that's you, if you're Ned Flanders,
but if they know that you're doing that as a business decision, then they're kind of like, I get it.
They can understand it, but it's still inauthentic.
There's a part of me that feels that coming onto a platform like YouTube and just completely letting loose and saying like, I don't even care about the advertising. I don't even care what's good as a business decision. I'm gonna make the content that I want to make. It's like, that's great. You should do that if you want to do that, but you also need to understand that that's going to have ramifications for the success of your brand, right?
Well, there's another element of this we haven't talked about where you see two different parts of YouTube fighting each other. And so this is the violence part. So is it the case that if you are a game streamer and you stream first-person shooters and you start your video with a bunch of headshots, can you get demonetized for that?
Yes. So that's what I brought up earlier, is that they did... Also, in this November of 22 update, I'm not as familiar with what things were like before, but this one says that game violence directed at a real named person or acts that are manufactured to create shocking experiences such as brutal mass killing, implied moment of death such as bombing a building with people inside, may not receive ad revenue.
Does that include just like Battlefield, like a jet comes over and just...
This is a big reason why gaming YouTubers were so affected by this, because... especially in the first seconds of a video, you're trying to grab people's attention. So often there will be gameplay, there will be violence.
A sizzle reel.
Yeah.
Like a highlight reel
right.
of the best stuff. And hey, we're playing graphic war video games.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest video games in the world.
Right.
And we're going to show the best moments. Best means mass murder.
Yeah.
'Cause that's our society.
Exactly.
And so YouTube is rewarding me and incentivizing me to put these best moments at the top. But they're also admonishing me for doing that because advertisers don't like that. So what am I supposed to do, YouTube? High retention and no monetization?
Yeah, so but that's what's so funny is that standard gameplay where gory injuries are present, they say standard gameplay, like they know that this is standard for game stuff. They say after the first 8 seconds, it's okay. You may receive ad revenue. Which is so funny because and this is what's also interesting. They have a separate page about gaming stuff specifically, and they added that recently. The gaming and monetization article. Yeah, here it is. But in this update, they loop it all under violence. So this was part of the problem, is that I'm like, okay, what types of violence that you're describing here are specifically game stuff, and which parts are like they say police seizures as part of law enforcement. It's all very confusing, and I think that for me is the biggest takeaway from all this. It's really unfortunate that in this recent round, gaming creators specifically were the ones affected. In other situations, during the adpocalypse, it was more kind of like a broad stroke. So that sucks. And I think that the thing that most people are criticizing YouTube for here is the lack of communication. Change the guidelines, but like you said, the algorithm has been this kind of mysterious thing, and that's kind of part of the whole deal. But I think that needs to change now, especially if they're going to be making such drastic changes like this. I feel like YouTube has a responsibility to communicate this.
Yeah, you should be able to at least get an email instead of having to just know that page exists.
Yeah.
What about shorts also, though? 8 to 15 seconds, it could be like half of your short. So you can't open with some colloquial language. You're just going to get demonetized on your short. Like, that's a long time in a short.
I wonder if, and I think that these do apply consistently to shorts, like to all content. So, and live streams, like that's the other thing. When you're doing a live stream, you don't know what is going to pop up. And if you're playing a game, you don't know if something's going to pop up and then it's like horribly inappropriate.
Don't hate the play, hate the game.
Exactly. So it's a mess. And at the same time, I think YouTube has a responsibility to communicate, but at the same time, I think as creators, we also have a responsibility to kind of like, try and play it safe a little bit until we get to this utopia that you're describing where...
Well, it still has problems. Like, well, let's say
it's not a utopia.
I'm logged into my account and I'm showing my kid a video for kids.
Yeah.
And then there's like a Viagra commercial in front of it. I'm like, oops, sorry, Bobby. Didn't mean for you to see that.
Well, exactly. But, I think the counterpoint to that I've seen is people saying...
Get your kid an account.
Well, or there's YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
There's kids versions of these apps.
I actually don't believe in showing YouTube to kids. It's pretty trash content.
Well...
That's a different TalkLinked, though.
There's some really good compilations of, like, just all the dinosaurs.
Dinos.
Yeah.
They love dinos.
Like, there's Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Or Jurassic World.
I got her a book.
I got my kid books.
Yeah, right.
It's just YouTube.
Your kids can't read.
They open the book, it's a phone.
You're not wearing headphones this whole time.
Oh, whoops.
You told me to do it. Oh,
I know what I sound
like
like already.
Guy.
Wait, we have to do the outro. Thanks for watching TalkLinked. In case you were wondering what show this is, maybe it'll come back.
Am I involved in the outro?
You're in the video.
See you later.
Oh my god.